Good afternoon. Pardon me. Good afternoon. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on the 27th of October. It looks like Bitcoin's going to be taking off, but it also looks like the alts are building up for something important. So I wanted to do a live stream and capture it. I am still audio handicapped and can't figure out my trouble, so I apologize. But quickly, let's go through the disclaimer. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. And we really are looking at the markets versus a specific trading plan. And so you can get that trading plan by going over to introdocryptos.ca, scroll to the bottom and get the free training there so that you're up to date on this trading plan. And then when you're here, you've got some great questions. Come and join us over on our Discord chat and ask any questions you want about this trading method and how it might apply to anything else that we see out there in technical analysis land. Technical analysis is endless, and I've sort of sorted it down to a specific set of rules that I look for and follow. So in this video, I'm going to go through a short sequence and look at what's going on with the altcoins right now. We are looking at the 15-minute time frame of ADA/BTC, just because it's at the top here of what's trading on Binance. And we're comparing that with Bitcoin in the background. The light blue color is Bitcoin over on BitMEX, I think. No, Bitfinex. So what I am looking at right now, of course, everybody's looking at this big bowl shape. I see the 1, 2, 3 top formation here, and that they were stalling out at the same time that we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in the alts. This mirror image of Bitcoin altcoin is a pattern that we've seen before all the time. And so to see Bitcoin doing this as the alts are doing the top formation was a pretty good sign to dump all your alts and just hold Bitcoin for this minute. So I'm looking for this mirror image pattern now. The purpose of this live stream right now, just to quickly go through a few of these and correlate some before and after pictures, because we do have a potential 1, 2, 3 top formation in Bitcoin at this level, and a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in ADX at this time frame. So ADX did a Bart Simpson here, and I'm just going through these time frames now and correlating what happened right here. Is that the most important time? And I'll show you some details in a second from our bull market watch spreadsheet that tells us some inside information that was very helpful for my own trading. So now I'm just going to continue on, and what I'm doing here for my own part is the neural patterns of this pattern against this, right? The neural recognition, pattern recognition, training my brain to look for the top formation in an altcoin with a bottom formation in Bitcoin. They often correlate perfectly to the very minute we have these exhaustion candles. Just as this is starting, we're getting the kick in the pants, and it's showing it to us across a range of alts all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So when I'm seeing these shape up, I want to pay attention, because we are either going to be bouncing up here with some amazing altcoin recovery, or we are on the very edge of the pissing off the roof formation. We're on the edge of the roof and we're just about to be slipping way down. And I just wanted to go through at this close time frame where I don't really trade a lot on, but this helps me narrow down like my 12-hour time frame. When the 12 hours is shaping up, or when there's a pattern across all of the alts and Bitcoin, I want to pay attention. So there is a pattern shaping up here. I want to at least document it and become familiar with it. Get to know which are the coins actually taking off first out of this. Which are the coins that are actually doing something versus we have Bitcoin going up, coin going down, looking flat. Right? Coin going down, 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 down. As Bitcoin gains some more strength at all here, this one's flattening off. The more that we see this on average, the better prepared we are for not holding on to the alts that we may still be hopeful on. If this is the pissing off the roof formation, and this is our top formation right here in the alts that we just saw, and we are now in a downtrend, this is a sell signal in the downtrend, we got to respect it then, if that's what's actually happening. And we see Bitcoin is continuing to go, altcoins are taking off, Bitcoin dominance going up. Then we have the other side of the coin. this, well, it looks right now like a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and this looks like a potential 1, 2, 3 top that could break down, that could shift mirror image sides like they did here. That's what I'm watching for, and I want to document it as it goes, because as it starts to go, then I want to dig into the indicators beneath these. So now we have a bit of a pattern here on, what is this, the 15-minute time frame. Let me go over and check out the chat. Crypto Kerbit. I'm dumb, longed Bitcoin today. Not sure that's a good idea. Any trade is not a bad idea. You just assume you were wrong when you put it on. Start off small and add it on, if you're right. So the main thing that I try to do, I really don't trade that close time frame. I try to stay out of it as much as possible because it's a lot more work. And I'm looking to have my coins do the work for me. So I look for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and I'm trying to position, but if it's not working out, I don't want to hold those positions. Now what I'm looking at here, screen after screen, is the overall number 1 point of the 1, 2, 3, the overall number 2 point of the 1, 2, 3. Now we have a new number 3 point of the 1, 2, 3. And so it's time to be watching for the finish of the pissing off the roof formation, as Crypto Sniper calls it, and I guess he's from South Africa. I thought he was an Australian, but he calls this failed 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout the pissing off the roof formation. As we see here, we could be in that again. So while I'm looking for the reversals inside this little detail, it is a super risky place to trade. It's either a swing trade that's going to be fantastic and Phoenix from the flame and wonderful, or we're taking the very last breath before everything goes underwater, and we're taking it at the absolute wrong time. So while it may look inviting and I want to document it, it's not something that I really look to be trading. Instead, I want this to now build a 1, 2, 3 that gives me a big enough place at a really good technical level that I could be starting to establish a position. Then maybe we've changed directions and we're not going to keep chopping sideways. For my own part, I don't have a sideways choppy market trading system that I can work right now. I look for the long-term trends and I build my positions as the market is shifting, and it's a lot easier and it's worked so much better for me over time that that's what I focus on. That's what I teach. And it's what I learned from reading Reminiscences of a Stock Operator and from reading the books from the 1930s and the 1920s. When I first started learning about trading back in 1995, there was no internet. My first internet account, my first web page was a trading log so that I could be managing my futures trading and tracking all of my wins and losses. Then I learned more and more and more through the internet, and I learned to take the easier approach, the more trend following approach. And it sucked the last year and a half as Bitcoin, as the altcoins have been crushed. It's been pretty low budge. But now this is the kind of setup that we've been all watching for. There's the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. There's a larger 1, 2, 3 with a nice consolidation buildup. So it's like just textbook, beautiful trade that you would want to get into. And once you're into something like this, as I am, you don't want to do anything. This is a normal pullback to be expected, the 50% level in the move. So now that it's come back to the 50% level, what I'm watching for, especially against Bitcoin's weakness right now, is for 1, 2, 3s to shape up here and for this to be our add-on signal from the original buy. Now I've got my signal in, my position in, and I was able to build it one piece at a time, another piece at a time at the very good moments technically. Let me have this build out a little bit more, give me a better technical level. And by putting on the major part of my position here, I started off with very safe, a very safe setup. If I could double my position, then I would average out my, 100 units here plus 100 units here equals 200 units at that price, the average. I can already have my stop loss up above my profit. I've protected my profit while increasing my position size. So what we're looking for now in the alts is amazing setups. And I have to edit some expressive language here. It's a different time frame now that we're zooming in, but we're watching for the identical pattern to set up. That is the break of the downtrend line, the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation at the same time, that it breaks some significant technical levels. So again, watching for this to build and take off. And if you think that Bitcoin was manipulated through this area, it might stand to reason that the alts were pumped up and dumped just at the right time before this went off, so that we could clean people up on this side of the fence and clean them up on that side of the fence. If this market is small enough that they can manipulate Bitcoin, the alts are most certainly being manipulated at the same time. So now that I don't think they can manipulate the direction of the market. They can only manipulate a few waves as it's going along the tide. So they can push a wave back and forth, and this is enough to scare everybody, to get everybody going way too long, too big, and now they are all getting wrecked as it comes back. This is enough to wreck the whole industry and to make billions of dollars out of this. It's bigger than most of us can imagine. So what I'm really keen to see is that the pattern is matching alts versus Bitcoin right to the moment. Where's my... Now, this pattern is really important all over the place. Let's go to Bitcoin dominance. If this keeps going up, my pattern is less important. Now I want to go over to the Patron Bull Market Watch spreadsheet, and where is it? Yeah, okay. How do I analyze coins like HOT, which haven't experienced a bull market yet? I'll bring that chart up. Looks like Chinese coins are starting to pump on China news. Might have to keep an eye on those babies. I never put that together. I saw NEO taking off. Somebody mentioned it in our Discord chat, and 30%. Dang. XVG. Okay, well, I'll jump into those coins, but I want to talk about the overall market. So one specific coin could be the ticket to make some nice money, but to watch the overall market and to invest average over all of them as they mature is what's been working for me. It's been good. So now what I was watching for as I went into this Patron Bull Market Watch spreadsheet details, I was going back through time and I was trying to look back to say, where was the very best time to get in? So as we're going through, let me go over to Binance. Okay, where are we? Binance, September the 1st. Back further, August the 3rd. Look at, this is where all the markets are failing. This means they're going to new lows. They're beyond the lows that we just recently saw, and they're going to new. We're finding new number one points that we have to build a new number 1, 2, 3 bottom formation out of. And if we go back to these charts and start looking at what happened August 3rd and 4th, let's go to a longer term time frame, pull it back. I guess I can go to the 3-month. August 3rd and 4th, this is where the prices were. So when our color coding for most of the markets was telling us that this was, hitting the bottoms, it was actually the best time to be buying because the markets didn't continue on the downtrend so far, just coincidentally. But as we can see this setting up and we start pulling into the present, this spreadsheet was telling us when to get into the market and when to get out. We could see that we should have gotten into AGI at this time and then gotten out of that one. While everything else was tanking and going lower, right? This one had already taken off and given us some profits. Here's another one that took off before the crowd, Atom, and gave us some profits. And these were the early ones. Then everything else started to wake up and to turn into alert statuses and start to go into hold status coins. And really, with this spreadsheet, you could just buy 1% of your portfolio into one of the coins that turns green. maybe at 0.5% of your portfolio. And you would be sprinkling them out into all of them as they unfolded. And then we could use this spreadsheet to tell when to start getting out of the market before everybody else is paying attention to it. So we were cleaning up and getting rid of a lot of our positions a week and a half ago. And now we're coming down to these lows. So we were able to pull out at some profits, even though things didn't turn out well. We got that early warning notice to be taking care of that. If you're interested in that, we are accepting new members in our patron group, and I have to go and update that now. There will be 7 new members available at the $15 a month tier. I will upgrade that and fix that here later today, because that will close on November the 1st, and there will not be accepting any new patron members until the end of November. So there's only the last 3 or 4 days of the month that we the last 3 or 4 days of the month that we do the patron drive. I forgot about that. Let's check out the charts you guys are looking for. Hot. H. Well, hot is setting up beautifully, actually. It's giving us the bowl shape, the one that constitutes the number 1 point, that whole thing. This is our number 2 point, and it's sitting back, and I don't want to do anything with it while it's floating sideways all the way here. Whatever. But when it starts to break up above this, it's changing direction. So it's given us a very clear point. And since we have great technical support and resistance from the past there, it could be, for me, would be the place to start putting into it. Even though you could, if it's going to go up in the future, this would be the better place to buy. I don't know if it's going to go sideways and sideways and sideways. So I'll wait for it to actually change directions, and then I can scale in. If it comes up and pulls back a little bit and gives me a new little 1, 2, 3, I could risk scaling in more. So it came up, pulled back. I could have added on here, waited for the 1, 2, 3 top formation. And now I'm waiting again for the whole market. But, since it's 10 Satoshi, having $5 in that, it's not a bad idea. It's like an insurance policy, because you just know it's going to go to 100 Satoshi over the next year and a half. So a few dollars in this isn't a bad idea, really, right off the bat. Now, XVG. Dean H., good to see you along. Thanks for joining in. I think I said that already. XVG and Omisigo. Let's go to XVG first. XVG. This one isn't quite as pretty. There are a different category of coins from those that came down in August and made a bottom formation that we saw. We were talking about those color coding. There was a generation of coins, a whole bunch of coins that did nothing. They just went sideways and just like, okay. But there were a whole bunch of coins that at the beginning of September in this area, they stepped up and made some really nice gains. So Ripple, of course, was one of them. Ethereum as well was another of them. Out of this bottom formation on September the 8th to the 12th, there were some really great gains. So we didn't get into any XVG. It didn't break out of the bottom formation. It never told us to pick anything up. It's hanging at the bottom. Okay. I just wouldn't spend any time on it. Even if I know the project and love it, I've lost enough money from loving projects to let go of that now and pay attention to the technical patterns and just diversify across the whole range of them. And as the market goes, my whole portfolio swims. And then as it pulls back, I'm easing out of the coins, and it's done me well over the years. Now let's go to Omasego. Oh, well, Ripple I accidentally clicked on here, so we have to go and look at it because I was paying close attention to what was Ripple doing out of this potential divergence. Because if Bitcoin's going up and we're breaking these levels, Bitcoin dominance is going to be rising and all of the adults are going to be sliding right now. We'll watch it as Bitcoin is gaining and blasting off of here. Then The altcoins are not ready for the super amazing rise out of the flames right yet. So let's go to OMAZING. And I'll stay ready. I'll keep watching and watching and watching, and I'll have that spreadsheet ready when it does go. LMN OMG. Whoa. So there's definitely a reason to be doing the strategy on every single coin that there is, and don't second guess them. Don't prejudge them. When it makes the 1, 2, 3 and it starts to go, play the strategy on all of them. And the ones that move, you're in. And the ones that don't move, you just never did anything in it. This is a really tough one, though. This made a wicked consolidation. I don't like the blast off that it did. It's so volatile that it's not quite the formation yet for the long term. We've got lower lows pulling up here. I would like it to blast a little bit and reestablish with a higher low rather than coming off a blast from a lower low. Even though it could go up higher, I'll wait for a little consolidation before that catches my eye. Where are we now? See, alts making all kinds of gains. Yeah, the alts are looking pretty exciting, especially when we can see some of them just doing crazy moves along with Bitcoin. That's like the dream. Bitcoin dominance coming down, Bitcoin prices going up, and altcoin prices going up. That's the dream. Because this is really going up in US dollar faster than Bitcoin is going up in US dollar. And we can see Bitcoin is going up in US dollar in the background. That's phenomenal. Let's take a look at Link. Oh, Link is not liking this. Link is pulled back pretty significantly on this Bitcoin move. Going to the 4-hour time frame, like right to the time, just so many of these alts made this top formation right at the same time Bitcoin was coming out of here. The correlation of monitoring that, I don't know, the mirror image of the alts to Bitcoin is so awesome. 1, 2, 3 top formation just as it's breaking, the very same time Bitcoin's going. So to have stepped out of all of the alts at this moment would have been the genius move to do. And so what does it take to be ready for that kind of move? Just knowing your pattern. Knowing your pattern so well that you do it without second guessing it, because this hasn't proven as itself as a top formation, and as it's going, everybody's selling. And so if you market sell, you're going to get a much worse order than you are expecting. Knowing the divergences in the RSI, so we could see in this coin the divergence in the RSI as it's making the top formation. So as we're making the top, we can see the RSI is fading off. So the top formation is coming up to being confirmed. We've got to know that the Bitcoin divergence in the RSI on the other side is powerful enough that these two coordinate together. Which is why I'm zoomed into the chart right now to see if there is any coordination between the potential bottom formation right now and it loses ground as Bitcoin's taking off out of this. It only made sense before the live stream as Bitcoin was coming up to make a top formation here. Breaking down from these levels and down from these levels would have given the alts the mirror image instead of fading off here and going up here. This last little bit now, since the live stream started, really, this has changed the tone of the conversation for what we're looking at here. Look at ONT. They seem to move along with. Hey, Khan, good to have you along. Now, Litecoin is moving. Bitcoin is breaking higher. Hello from Holland. So Bitcoin is definitely breaking higher. And here's the 1, 2, 3 formation buy signal. I also played along in this. and put my stop above my entry because it came back and kicked me out. And then I was going to yoga, so I wasn't playing. I wasn't doing another trade. Now it's taking off. Do I FOMO in on this? I'm 65% Bitcoin now and 35% altcoins. Instead of FOMOing in on a leveraged Bitcoin trade, I'll probably go and tend to my alts instead. So TRX made a nice move out earlier, and this is one of the first movers that was giving me the idea that alts are actually going to be taking off and Bitcoin was going to be pulling back. However, because this was taking off before Bitcoin finished that top formation in the background, 1, 2, 3 was building up, and this was already taking off. Now we'll see what goes on. What's the other coin we wanted to take a look at? Woo. Yep. The main thing I try to do now, because I've lost money so many times in trades, is to err on the side of being risk adverse. So when I do put on a trade, and as soon as I can get my stop above my entry, I'm doing it. And if I have to do this trade over and over and over to get into a good clean one that just moves above my entry and stays above my entry, that's my job. And then after that, I try to not second guess and not interfere as much. I try to give it the room that at least the 4-hour exponential moving average gives us. So once I get into a trade and the exponential moving averages have not been breached, then I let it be wild and try not to let myself freak out. And if I would have done a trade in this so that I was, just buying on the breakout here, I wouldn't have freaked out at all from this pullback because my exponential moving averages haven't crossed over on the 12-hour time frame. And this is one of the things that we're studying here, is that we mark out the exponential moving average crossover on the 4-hour time frame and on the 12-hour time frame. So we're double testing, forward testing with evidence right in front of you as it's building out, how this system not only gets you in and filters out the coins that are not moving, but also gets us out at the right time and gives you some options, some variability in how risk adverse you want to be. ONT and NEO. Why would ONT and NEO move along with Bitcoin? Like, is there something about them? Because I've been watching for Bitcoin or altcoins to start to segment into industries. Whoa. And Dean actually mentioned it and gave some information about some of the coins that are to do with the financial services, the decentralized finances services, as a segment of altcoins. So here again, this is a tough one to trade. We got the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breaking out. We had it go to an exit status or a fail status, and then wham, off it goes. And having a few of them do this makes me want to watch all of them. Even if they're pulling back and they look terrible, this is not the time to lean back and to say, oh man, the alts are going down forever. This is really an important time to be paying attention. And here's an example. Wow. And I couldn't have traded this and just couldn't have traded it. It's not my formation. Once it kicked me out of here again, just like the Bitcoin trade in the background, my system filters this out. It'll come back. It'll give us a consolidation that looks prettier and comes down to a very small risk to reward ratio. Now the risk to reward, it's unknown. I can't do it. So I have to watch now. What was the other one? NEO. Oh yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's language, of course, but NEO. Boom. If NEO's going, I'm thinking about Lisk, I'm thinking about Ethereum and any of the other platforms that let you build apps on them. That's not going so good for Lisk. Link was on its way down as well. Let's zoom right in. It is indeed cracking lower as Bitcoin's taking off, and you can see the divergence setting up here. So the alts are getting overall squished down. I don't know. Some of them are getting squished down. Some of them are going up. So I'll have to keep current on the spreadsheets so that I'm capturing the ones that are moving up. Interesting to see when the top formation happened in this and the pullback as well. I don't get the difference in this, that most of the alts were going up here and then pulled back here at the very same time, and this one didn't. So any of them that are doing something different, I want to know why. What's the deal with this one that was different? Why are the ones that are moving right now taking off? What are they doing? So I've got to go and work on my spreadsheet. I want to update this so that I can check off an extra filter on that and sort these coins according to their behavior just this last little while. But for now, I'm about 65% Bitcoin, 35% altcoins. I'll probably be down further in the alts, even though I am watching very closely for those kind of turnarounds like we just saw in, what was that, ONT? ONT. Yeah, that's a real tough one. You got to be ready for this 1, 2, 3 formation. And even then, if you buy in here and you put your stop where it should be, you got to start the trade all over again. So smaller trades, larger stops, add on to it later. We're all happier. No easy trade. Yeah, ONT reacted and Neo suddenly pumped. So there's just, those are the trades that I really do filter them out of my system. I try not to do this because we get these formations so often that come up and pull back that if you're chasing these all the time, your risk to reward, your win-loss ratio is crazy. But it did break those levels out of the clear 1, 2, 3. So if you had your buy signals in advance and set up, you would have got tagged in on that and you'd be sitting pretty. Now you could have your stop above your entry and you're good. Let me see, what have I got for alerts on Binance alerts? ONT was an alert. That's set up a bit ago though. So if I bring up our alert from the 20th of September. So it was set up out of this 1, 2, 3 and just waiting until it broke and changed directions. So right now, after the initial trade entry, the stop loss is still behind the initial trade setup. Now I'll go in and I'll move the stop loss up above our entry. And that's for the pro alerts. The color-coded spreadsheet just gives you the colors. The pro alert will give you the exact specific entries and exit potential targets too. So it looks like this may have hit its entry and its exit target. And what about Neo? Yeah, we had an alert on Neo as well. Let's just drag this down. And again, it's from the 19th of September. As the bottom formation setting up, preparations made way in advance. And that's how to get ready for these. There's no way to know when or which. It's just preparation. And then when it does come, you look back and say, oh, shit, I was prepared. Am I ever lucky that I was prepared? Pretty cool. TNT. TNT is one that got away from me as well. And I knew it was going to as it was setting up. And some of the guys brought it up into our Discord chat. And we're pointing out this awesome setup right here as it was all setting up, probably in this range, saying that, look, it's done this so many times in the past that it's probably a good idea to get a little bit and put your sell orders here. I said, I will if it does a 1, 2, 3 bottom. And then as you zoom in on this, it had a lower lows on this bottom. So I didn't even put it into an alert status yet. And by the time it took off, it's already moving and I can't put it into an alert status because it didn't finish a nice bottom formation. So I missed out on this one. And there's nothing doing with it now. It's got to really come back and make a consolidation formation before I can do anything on it now. It's just out of my hands. So this is one of the markets that I was kind of sore on, that going, oh man, beautiful, and I couldn't even do anything with it. There's a few of them that on these small time frames get away from me. So it's the Chinese projects that are pumping hardest, and the Korean projects. I know if you go to Fiat Leak, see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, fiatleak.com. I'm taxing my computer now. Leave this sit here for a few minutes and it'll show the areas where the money is actually flowing to for Bitcoin. And you can see it's flowing into United States and into Korea. Like, Korea is such a very, I don't understand why Korea is such a big player in the crypto movement, but they have been for quite a long time. They've really adopted it a lot. And even though US has regulations and laws that aren't as favorable for Bitcoin, it's kicking ass over Europe, like flowing huge money. So Bitcoin dominance, I'll continue to watch to see what is going on. Now I'm going to sign off and I'm going to head over to the spreadsheets. Look at the longs increasing now. This is what I'm looking for. The longs to increase and the big spank to come. Let's go to the 4 hour. And I'm looking for I was looking for the longs to get back up to the July levels before price got up to, let's go to the 1 day view. Right as prices got up to these levels, exactly here, if we hold sideways for a bit and we get a whole bunch more longs coming in so that they are up near the July levels, but the price hasn't gone up to the July levels, that it will be the moment that the price gets hammered back down to the $5,800. Of course, there's no way to know, but the reason I say that is going to the logarithmic view and going to a long-term time frame and just drawing a simple trend line, which has escaped me here for the drawing tools. Isn't that weird? Okay, you'll have to draw it without my drawing tool. You can see this straight line. It actually comes right up to the $5,800 level. So we could be close enough. This could be it. That could be the dump off of that big long trend line. That could be it, but I'm still expecting another piece of punishment just because of my conspiracy theory about the Bitcoin longs and that the entire market is manipulated. There is a limited supply of Bitcoin and the big boys know it. I think they're going to do a big rundown to get everybody, but maybe that's it already. That could be it already. By the big volume coming along with it, that could be it already. Let's see how it goes. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll head over to our Discord chat. There's a link down in the description below, and we'll continue on the conversation about what's going on with Bitcoin, what's going on with altcoins. For the Bull Market Watch Patreon subscribers, you have access to the spreadsheet. I'm going to go over to Patreon right now and update that so that we have the 7 spots open at the $15 a month level. And after those are filled, there will be no more spots at the $15 a month level unless one of those people unsubscribes, and then that spot will be open back up. But it'll continue to be working its way up to its actual value. And that's what we'll be doing over the next several months. So again, thanks for being here. I'll see you guys in our Discord chat. Ciao. China is buying via Korea. Sneaky. Cheers. Let me sign off. I could go on forever, and I do, over on our Discord chat.